Hey, hi everyone. My name is Kisha Tyagi and today I am going to explain you the chapter Sound of Class 8th. This is the chapter 10 of our science book. Now let's start. Mm, Now sound is a form of energy and just like electricity or heat. Sound is a form of energy. Sound is something which help us to communicate with each other like it is sound that you are hearing of mine. My sound is reaching to your ears. Now, sound creates a sensation of hearing in our ears, like it is doing in our ears. When we talk to someone and listen to somebody else's voice, the sound of that person reaches to our ears and create a sensation of hearing, and our brain interprets the message and we understand what the person is saying. Now we we get to know that sound travels in something called waves. I'm drawing a photo. Waves are like this, and this position here. This position is the mean position, and uh, this the line I drew is the highest displacement, which means the highest height of the wave. Now let's go to next part. Sound is produced by a vibrating body. If now in exam the question will come like how is sound produced? We will write a main line that sound is produced by a vibrating body. Then we will elaborate by telling the to and fro movement in an object is called vibration. Now many students get confused in oscillation and vibration because oscillation is also a to and fro movement. But here oscillation is the to and fro movement of a simple pendulum. Simple pendulum like I'm drawing which has a bob. Bob. Yes. So there is a difference in vibration and oscillation. That vibration is the to and fro movement of an object which creates sound, whereas oscillation is the to and fro movement of a simple pendulum. Now, in some cases, we can see the vibration, like here. Here we can, while plugging a rubber band, we can see the vibration. But in some cases, we are not able to see the vibration because the amplitude of which about amplitude we will talk later, but now you understand that amplitude is something about the sound wave. So we are not able to hear we are not able to hear the sound or feel the vibration when the amplitude is very high or very low. So now let's go to the another topic. Before that, we will uh, here we are given information about the musical instruments and their vibrating part. In Veena, the stretched string produces sound, but the stretched string is not only one part of the instrument which creates music, which is vibrating, but the vibration is done by the whole body of the instrument, henceforth creating a sound which is beautiful and musical, which give us immense pleasure. Sorry. Now we will come to second topic. Sound is produced by humans. How do we produce sound? Now, when we speak, does any part of our body vibrate? This is a question given to us by Pahili. Now, here if we feel while talking, if we feel if we touch on our neck, we will feel a projection coming out, which will vibrate. Now this is the part which produces sound in humans. This part is called the voice box. On an upper view, the voice box looks like this. This voice box is also known as larynx. Now it has two vocal cords, this one and this one. These are two vocal cords. These are stretched over the voice box. Now around these vocal cords there are some muscles around these vocal cords. There are some muscles which controls the size of vocal cords, like they have to be stretched or loosened. This creates a difference in the pitch of the voice. Now when now the air from the lungs goes through the stilt. This leads to the vocal cords to vibrate. This produces sound in humans. Okay. This vibration produces sound in humans. This is self-explanatory sentence. Now, let's come to the third part. Before that, we will talk about the vocal cords. In men, not talking about boys, but in men, the vocal cord is about 20 mm long, and in women, these vocal cords are 50 mm long, and in children, they are very short because they are in growing age. Now, 10.3, sound needs a medium for propagation. Now, this word might be new for you. Propagation means traveling or movement. Yes. And now the question in exam will come, does sound need a medium to travel? And we will give answer yes. And we will say sound cannot travel in vacuum. Now vacuum is a place which has no air in it. It has no matter around. It is a place which has no matter, no particles or molecules. If we talk about the propagation of the sound, the energy is sent by sound energy is sent by a source while we are talking or listening to someone. The particles around the source vibrate and transfer this sound energy, hence propagating and producing the sound. Hence propagating the sound. अब यहाँ पे हमें here we understand that the vibration of the particles or molecules propagate the sound. If there are no molecules or particles, there won't be any sound propagation. Henceforth, there is no sound in vacuum, and therefore sound needs a medium to propagate, as it needs particles to propagate, as particles are only present in the mediums like solid, liquid and gas. Now sound can travel through your water, solid and liquid. Yes, in solids the molecules are tightly packed. Henceforth, the movement speed of propagation of the sound is very fast. In liquids, the speed is on a medium pace because the particles are loosely packed. But in gas, the propagation is very slow in comparison to the solids and the liquids, as the particles are loosely packed here. Now at Moon, we use radio waves to communicate, as doesn't have it doesn't need any medium. Now radio waves do not need any medium. That's why astronauts on moon or any other planet communicate with each other, not by producing sound, as sound needs a medium and there is vacuum in space. Henceforth, they use a radio wave for communicating. Now, we will come to how do we hear, how do us human hear the sound. Now, we hear the sound by our ears. Now the sound here. Now let's come to the diagram. This is most important diagram of this chapter. Now, this is the outer ear, outer ear. This is the middle ear, and this is the inner ear. Now this outer ear part is shaped like a funnel. The sound is captured in the ear canal. This part is called ear canal. Now the sound is captured to the ear canal. This sound is sent to the eardrum by the canal. This part you might, yes, now this part is the eardrum. Here it is also given. This part is the eardrum. The sound goes through the canal to the eardrum. Then the eardrum amplifies the sound. Now this part vibrates and amplifies the sound, which means increasing the volume of the sound. This part amplifies the sound by vibrating and send the sound to the inner ear. And this part of the inner ear converts this sound into electrical signals, which are then sent to the brain, so that these electrical signals are interpreted by the brain and we are able to hear the sound. Now we will talk about the characteristics of sound. The number of oscillation per second is called the frequency of oscillation. Now the frequency of sound is the number of vibration in a second. The motion of vibration is also known as the oscillatory motion in a pendulum. Frequency is the number of oscillation per second, or frequency is the number of vibration per second. Now, number of vibration per second is measured in hertz. 1 hertz equals to one oscillation or vibration per second. Time period is the time taken upon the number of oscillation or the number of vibration. It is the time taken for one oscillation or the time taken for one vibration. Now the amplitude is the highest displacement from the mean position. Now we were talking about amplitude before also. Now let's draw a sound wave. A quick sketch of a sound wave. My drawing is not too good. I think this is enough. Now here, the highest displacement, which means this part, the highest displacement in a sound wave is called its amplitude. This is the amplitude of this sound wave. The highest displacement. It is the highest displacement on which the sound wave goes from the mean position. This position is called the mean position. This line is the mean position, and from it the highest displacement is called the amplitude. I think amplitude is understood by all in a sound wave. Now, what are the properties of sound? Loudness and pitch. These are the properties of sound. Yes. Loudness is directly proportional to the amplitude square. Loudness is directly proportional to the amplitude's square. Loudness is measured in decibel. Now here, if the displacement is high, the voice will be loud. This is the displacement. It is high, then the voice will be loud. If the displacement is low, like in this wave, from the mean position, then the sound will be a little softer, not loud, but this sound will be loud because the amplitude is high. So here we can see, say loudness is directly proportional to amplitude ka square. Now if we take the square of the amplitude, if we say, let assume it is 2, then the loudness square, the amplitude square will be 4, and 4 is equals to loudness. Now the loudness is expressed in the unit called decibel, dB. D is small and B is capital, decibel. Normal breathing, the decibel is 10. Soft whisper at 5 m, it is 30 decibel. Normal conversation 60, 70 of busy traffic, and average factory is 80 decibel. Now above 80 decibel, the sound becomes noise. Now we will talk about noise after some time. Now we will come to frequency. The frequency is directly proportional to the pitch of the sound. Now pitch is also a property of sound. Pitch and loudness are the properties of sound. Now if the frequency, like here we are showing the frequency also. Frequency is the number of vibration per second. So if in a second there are large number of vibrations, high vibration in 1 second, then the pitch will be high. If the frequency is high, which means there are many vibration in 1 second, then the pitch will also be high, like whistling. Here in 1 second, many vibrations are done, but while banging the drum, there are less vibration in 1 second. Therefore, the frequency is less. Henceforth, as frequency is directly proportional to the pitch also will be less. Pitch will also be low. Here the pitch is high because the frequency is high. Here the pitch is low because the frequency is also low. I think this would be remembered by you all and understood. High pitched voice is produced by women and children, and low pitched voice is produced by men because of their voice boxes. Now in low pitch the sound is grave or hoarse in like in men, and in high pitch the sound is shrill like in women. Now let's come to the ending part of the chapter, audible and inaudible sounds. What sound humans can hear? Humans can hear only the audible sound. There are two types of sounds, audible and inaudible sound. As we all know, frequency is measured in hertz. From 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz is the audible range for humans. Humans can only hear this range of sound. Now there are two types of inaudible sound: infrasonic and ultrasonic. Now infrasonic are below 20 Hz to 0 Hz. Yes, and these are produced by and understood by hippos and dolphins. Inaudible sound are ultrasonic. It is produced by dog, and ultrasonic sounds are used in ultrasound, where the ultrasonic sounds are sent for investigating the medical problems in our bodies. It is used for medical purposes. Now we will come to the types of sound. Now there are another type, two types of sound: music and noise. Now noise are unpleasant sound which are very painful to hear. They have a non-uniform waveform. Now what is non-uniform waveform? Like their waveform is non-uniform. Like in music, the waveform is very pleasant and uniform. But in noise, the waveform is very ununiform. And in music, the waveform is very pleasant and uniform. Music are pleasant sound, like sitar or tabla, whereas sound by a loudspeaker or in heavy trucks or planes, the sound produces are called noise. Now, the presence of unwanted sounds in our environment leads to the noise pollution. On roads, trees are placed to on roads there are trees placed so that the sound of horns and automobiles do not flow to the buildings and people are not irritated. Now, lack of sleep, hypertension, high BP, or anxiety is also caused by noise. Noise is very harmful for us, and we should be in a distance from noise as it can endanger us and give us hearing impairment. Now, what is hearing impairment? The total hearing impairment, which is rare. Now we know that hearing impairment is very rare. It is usually from birth. Partial disability is generally due to result of a disease. Now children with impaired hearing need some special care. This special care would be provided by uh, developing some technological devices for these hearing impaired people, and a group of students in Ukraine have already built a device for these students for a device so that these people can also hear. Now the people who have hearing impairment are generally also having a defective speech. Uh, Now harms of noise we have already talked about. These are very bad for us. Noise is very bad. I am again telling noise is very bad for our health. It is produced from industrial areas, vehicles, transport, craft engine, jet engines, and how we can control these noise pollution in a residential area. If you have your own notebooks, then mark this question as important, as In an exam point of view, this question can come. Noisy operations must be conducted away from residential areas. Noise producing industries should be set up in away from residential areas. Okay. Now this is understood. TV and music systems should run at low voice so that there is no noise created, and no one gets hypertension or other harms. Now, trees are planted alongside the road so that the sound doesn't reach the residents as it can create noise pollution. Noise pollution is an important term for your chapter. Now we will see the back exercise. There is nothing important. Now we will talk about Golconda Fort because teachers can give question from here also. Golconda Fort is in Hyderabad and it has a speciality. If we if this guard goes under a dome and sends a hand clap at a particular point, the soldiers will be alerted and will know that a enemy invasion is done on the fort. Now we are able to understand that how the ancient civilization of India were very intelligent and created a system for sound to go from a far place to so that the people can be known that there is an invasion from enemy for their self defense. And now we have completed this chapter in under 30 minutes, and that's all. And I will try to give my notes, my personal notes, in the description so that many students can score higher marks in their exams. Thank you. Signing off.